Okay, hi all. Good morning, good evening. So we have this question. I think Bhushan has asked, no? Bhushan has asked this question. So
Yes, sir.
here we have a table. Hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, fine, perfect. Let me zoom this a little bit. So here we have this table. Table name is input, and this is some column. So let's say your column, and here this dash and nothing but null. Okay. Let me update here. So these all are null. This is also null. I remember long back someone had asked the same question on LinkedIn or on our group. I forgot. But the same question was asked. Okay. So here this is the input. You have this column and here the value is null and this is 4 and again you have some values and then you have null again. So this is the data. And now for this data, you have to write a query so that this should be the output. It means like what all values you have here, you should get the same value here. Okay. And you might be thinking that what is the real time use case of this? Okay. So those who have attended my ETL class, ETL batch, if you remember, I have covered a concept known as data rollover. Many time it happens that there is no transaction on a particular business day. So you have to copy the transaction of previous day. Okay. Or sometime if value is not there, so your client will tell that whatever the latest value, but the last value was there, you update it. Okay. So that is known as data rollover concept in ATL world. It's a very common term, but depends from project to project. I will not go in that detail. So those who are from that batch, maybe they can recall. So here the expectation is you have this data, you have null, then 4, then you have some values, it is again null, then you have 10, again you have some null values, and it is 3. So you have to write a query in such a way that this should be the output. Okay. Now here the logic is this is 4, and before this it is null. So they want us to update the same value here. This is the logic. If you check this partition, so you will find that the same value you have to update here. Now if you'll check this one, so here what is happening here is you could see like the value is 10 and before this all are null. So you have to update all these records with the same value 10. Hope this is clear. Similarly, this is 3 and these all values are null. So the same value 3 you have to update for this 3 records. So first of all, is the question clear? Is the question clear to everyone? Right? Okay. So we have to think that how to do this. And okay, how you want me to proceed, guys? Directly, should I tell you the final SQL query for this, or you want me to explain from the scratch? It will take time then, maybe 20, 30 minutes. Any
If
thought?
yeah, from the
Scratch,
scratch it will do.
scratch would be helpful, Tanvir.
Okay, I was expecting same. Okay, we'll go from scratch and we will share the recording as well, guys. So let's start with a flow chart or algorithm. Like if you have this kind of question, then how you should approach, right? So here, whenever you have this kind of question, so one thing is clear, like here you have to create some partitions, right? Like this is one partition. Within this, you have to update this value. Then this is another partition. Within this, all these values should be same. Then this is some partition, and within this again, this values are same. So one thing is clear that we have to create some partition here, right? That we have to do. Now the challenge is how to create partition. I will discuss each and everything one by one. Okay. So how to create that partition. Now coming to this query. Here you have this. Let us start from your table. This is your table. Now in this table, what I will do, I'm sorry, right here your column, and then within this I'll write row num, from your table. First of all, let's try to understand the output of this. So this is the query. Now for this query, this is the output. It's very simple and straightforward. You all know row number is nothing but it will generate numbers, right? So you could see here in the output you have values from 1 to 9, right? For each and every data, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 12. We have those values, right? Why I'm generating row num, I will explain that. Now on top of it, what I will do, I will try to find a count of it. There's a count function, count of your column. Then we have this over and order by row num. Let's try to understand this. Let's keep the name of this as something ent count. Okay, let me keep separate this as well. Now this is the query. Now what's the output for this? This is the output. Let's try to understand the meaning of this count function here. Okay. So here I have written count of your column. It means I am telling SQL engine. Let me write null here. So you get confused. Mark all those things as null. So wherever it is dash, it is actually null. This is again null. So here I've written count of your column. It means I'm telling SQL engine to count your column, right? Count this, count your column. Your column is this column you have to count. But over this particular arrangement, over order by row num. So row num has been ordered in ascending order, right? If I mention order by row num, so by default it is in ascending order. So this is in ascending order. Now see how this has been derived here and why I have derived this. I will answer both the questions. First of all, why the value is 0. Like we have discussed in count, like count of a column, and if it has null, it doesn't count it, right? It ignores a null. If you remember, we have discussed it. So that's why the value is 0 here. Is that clear? Now for the next set of record, count of column. So here you have some value. Okay, for this particular row num, you have some value. So this is 1. Again, this set of values, they all are null. So engine will not count it. That is why it has repeated the same value 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 till here. Till here, is this clear first of all? Any question? I think it's clear. Okay. After this, again you have a value. So engine will again count it. So this 1 plus 1, now the count is 2. Again it is null, which will not be counted. It will continue this 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 till here. Again you have some value, so it will be counted. It will become 2 plus 1, so this is 3. First of all, is this derivation clear to everyone?
So Tanvir, as you mentioned,
Hmm,
count
hmm,
of null is 0, right?
hmm.
But in the next case also we are doing count at null, right? Why it is coming 1, 1, 1, 1?
Because here it was 1. So this count of null was 0. 1 plus 0 is 1. Again, 1 plus 0 is 1. That is why this is same. Let me show you one more example to make it more clear. Okay. Let me take some other example because this has a lot of null. So let me show you one more
My
example.
question is, how is it getting added? Like 0 plus 1, 1 plus.
Because this is count function.
Yeah, count of
So
column.
count of column. So what all values it will be here, that will kept on adding. Let me show you one more example. Okay, just a minute. I'm searching some record which I can show you. Let me show you. Suppose I have this table. Suppose this is student table. Why I'm taking this example? Because this doesn't have null. Okay. And we will try to understand first of all how this works, count of a column. Okay. And then it will become more clear to you. So here you have this select a star from a student. This is student table. Now let's do here select name, comma marks, comma count of. Suppose count of name over order by marks from a student. Okay. So this query we will try to understand like how this count function works. Let me execute it. So this is the output. Okay. And let me keep it here. Let me keep it here. This is the query. And this is the output. Let's try to understand it. From this, it will be more clear. This is the data. Here, what you're trying to count? Name,
Name.
right? Trying to count name. Order by marks. So this marks is in ascending order because you have written here order by marks. If you remember, I have told in my regular classes as well that in every window function or any window function, you always start from here. It is ordered by marks. So is this mark sorted in ascending order, right? After this count function will start working. So the main task of count function will start here. It will count the name. So now here the value is 2 because for this particular marks, it is same. So for this marks, the total count is 2. That is why it is showing 2 here. This is also 2. Now why it is 4? Because again, for this marks, this 2 have the same value. So 2 plus 2, this is 4, this is 4. Now why this is 5? Because for marks 12, you have one record. So 4 plus 1, this is 5. Again, for this 215, the count is 2. So 5 plus 2, it is 7 and 7. Then this is 8, 7 plus 8, 7 plus 1, 8, 8 plus 1, this is 9. So is this count function clear? In this table, if you don't have this duplicate marks, if 10 is, if you don't have two records for 10, if you don't have two records for 11, then it will be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like that. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now here it is same because count of your column and here the value is null. And we know that count within count, if you're using a column and if it has value null, it is not counted. That's why it is 0. Now here the count of a column, the value is there and this will be counted. That's why it's 1. But again, it is null. So null will not be counted. It will be 0. So 1 plus 0 is 1. So till here the value is 1. That's the reason. Again, the value has increased here to 2. Why? Because you have a value here. So this will be counted. So 1 plus 1, it is 2. But again, this is null. So that's why it is 2 here. And you have value here, 2 plus 1, it is 3. So is this derivation clear to everyone? Any question from this? No? Okay. Now you might be thinking why I have done this. What is the benefit? I will tell you the benefit of it. Okay. Now, if you remember when I started this, I told you like the first step is we have to create some partition, right? One partition for this, one partition for this, one partition for this sequence, correct? Now, can you think here? Can you check here and can you think something here so that this can help us to create a partition, this count column? Can we do something so that it can help us to create a partition? Anyone? Any idea? Suppose if I will shift this all the values in downward direction by one position, then what will happen? 0 will be shifted here.
Yeah.
This one will be shifted here. So this one will be here. This one will be here. and this one will be shifted here, correct? This 2 will be shifted here, this 2 will be shifted here, 2 will be shifted here, this 2 will be shifted here. You will get this new value. Is this clear? Now, shifting in downward direction, which keyword is used to shift the column values in downward direction?
Lag.
Lag.
Lag function. Very good. So I will use lag function here now. So this is, now let's skip it. I will request to go on mute, guys, if there's some background noise. Thank you. Now I will keep this in a CT expression with CT1 as, okay? I will keep this in a CT expression, and let's keep the name of this as what you want as B, okay? So now this CT1, select a star from CT1. So this will give you this value, what we have discussed right now, okay? Oh, sorry, I have done this on this table now. We have to do this for this table, right? So let's keep this as a B and keep this entire in a single row. So with CT1 as, okay, now as we discussed that we have to use a lag function because we want to shift it by one position in downward direction. So your column, row num, then B, then lag. Which column you want to shift?
Count. C1.
B.
Oh, 1 minute. Let me keep this name as A. Same. I think it was same in the query which Bhushan has shared. So you want to shift this by how many positions you want to shift it?
One position.
One position. Shall I write one here? Clear?
Yes.
Over order by row number. Okay. And let's keep this alias name as B from CT1. Now let's execute this query and check the output. So this is the query. Let me run this. B is invalid identifier. Oh, this is A, no? So this is your query. And this is your output.
Mhm.
Now, if you check here, the values has been shifted in downward direction by one position. Now, I have a question. So do you think here we have created a partition?
No.
Why no? Where is the issue here?
Because we have just shifted the position, but you have not done any kind of partitions.
Oh, but from this we can tell, no, like this is one partition. This all are one.
One
This is another partition.
and that last
So
is
here the value of B is all 2. So this is next partition. If you see here, this one, here all this B has value 2, right? Here in this one, all the values for column B is 1, right? This is one partition. Here you can ask that Tanvir, here this is 0, but this is null, right? Why this is null?
because
Because,
we shift
yeah,
the
tell me.
position. We shift the
We
position
have,
to the downward.
correct, we have shifted this in the downward direction. So this null has been created here, correct? So who is responsible for creating this null? Lag.
Lag.
So now if you remember, we have discussed that if lag function or lead function will create any null, it can fill it, right? So for that, you have to write 0 here. So now if you write 0 here, it means you are telling to the SQL engine that if this lag function has created any null, then it has to fill that with 0. Got it? So now if I will execute this query, now check the output for this. So now this is the value. And now if you will see the value for column B, so it has clearly created 3 partitions. Please verify the value here. Please check it. Is this clear? if you see, this is one partition, and this is another partition, and this is our next partition. Why I'm telling this is a partition? Because in this, the value of B is same. Is that clear, guys? Okay, the value of B is 0. Okay, the value of all the records B is 1. Here the value is 2. So far I have segregated this in 3 partitions. Is this clear so far, or do you have any question? Any
Clear.
question?
Clear, Tanvir.
Clear?
The parameters of lag, if you
Hmm.
can again tell what's
Sure.
A comma 1 comma 0.
Sure. Let me repeat it. Here I have written lag comma A. The meaning of this is we are telling SQL engine to shift the values of column values of column A in downward direction. You know, like lag is in downward direction, right? To shift the values of column A in downward direction by 1 position. That's why I've written 1 here. So if you will check here, so these values has been shifted in downward direction by 1 position, right? If you want, you can check here. The 0 has been shifted here, 1 position. 1 has been shifted here. This 1 has been shifted here. So all these values has been shifted. And because of that, this 2 has been shifted here. So now this is one partition. This is another partition. But in this partition, you know, like if we will add 0 here, it will become a perfect partition, right? Now this is null. So who has created this null? This null is because this lag has shifted this value in downward direction, right? So lag is responsible for this null. So we have studied that in the lag function, whatever third argument you will add, like here third argument is 0, correct? So third argument is 0. It means we are telling to the SQL engine that if the lag has created any null, it has to replace that with 0. That is why we have written 0 here. So it means here this null which this lag has created, it will fill that with 0, and that is why you have 0 here. I am not telling you have to write 0 only. You can write anything, but here we want 0 here. That's why I put here 0. Is that clear?
Does it occupy any fourth argument as well? Just
So,
3.
sorry, Rizwan, can you repeat?
Sir, does it occupy any fourth argument as well? Or
No,
only
no. Three arguments only. The
three
first
arguments? Okay.
argument is the column name which you want to shift. The second argument is the number of positions by which you want to shift. The third argument is the value which this lag has to fill wherever it has created null. This null was not in the data. How you got null here? Who has created this? Who is responsible for this? Lag is responsible because
Lag.
he has shifted this in the downward direction, and as a result, we got a null here. So now it's the responsibility of lag to fill it. So that is what the third argument, it is like a penalty for lag. So you are telling to fill it with 0. So lag has filled this with 0. Now, why I have filled with 0? Because this was 0 here. So now if you will keep it 0, so this will become one partition. That's the reason. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
I think someone was asking question. Is this clear so far?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So far, just I have segregated this in one partition, this in another, this in another partition, and this in another partition, right? But now the question is that why I'm doing this? What is the benefit, right? The benefit of this is, okay, just hold on here for some time, okay? After this, I want to explain you the concept of first value and last value. Then I will come back to this, okay? So, sorry, let me take some example to explain you what is first value and last value. I think I was having some, okay, fine. I will take this Amazon table. I hope you all remember we have discussed this a number of times during our classroom session. So I'll take this Amazon table, okay? And here we have this value, transaction month, department, and some transaction amount. Now in this, what I will do, suppose this is department, transaction month, and then you have transaction amount. Let me show you first value, and then I will write here over partition by department ordered by transaction month. The intention here, why I suddenly jump to this first value and last value, because that will be used here. That is why first of all I want to explain you this. Although it is very simple. Okay, let me show you this. Invalid number of arguments. What happened? First value over partition by department. I think I missed something here. Oh, something is missed. Let me check here in the query. Select this. Percentage score value, partition by department, ordered by transaction month. Am I missing something here? Or what is there? Partition by department, ordered by transaction month from Amazon. Everything is present here, right? White is throwing it a message. Percentage score value is there. Oh, sorry. Here I have to mention the column, no, which I want to add, right? Okay. Correct. Now check here. This is the query. Now this is the value. Okay, yeah. Let me keep some alias for this as new amount. This is the alias. This is the value here. Run this. Now this is the value. So in this output, let's just start with this one. I have explained you earlier as well that any window function always start reading it from here, right? So what we're trying to do here, partition by department, correct? So you could see here, this is one partition of clothes. And then this is a partition of grocery. I hope you all know how the window function works, right? And this is a partition of sports, correct? Partition by department is done. Then order by transaction month. So please remember, this order by transaction month is not in that order, what we know, like January, February, March. No, it's not in that order. Yes, we can arrange this in that order as well, but I don't want to go in that complexity now. This is order by transaction month in ascending order. So you could see here within each department, this month is in ascending order. F, J, M, correct? And here in grocery, again, this is in ascending order, correct? In sports, this is again in ascending order. So now this arrangement is done. Then here what you're telling, first value transaction amount. What is the meaning of this? Meaning of this is you are telling that for this particular arrangement, and within each partition, please populate the first value. So within this closed partition, what is the first value?
500.
500. So that is why you could see here everywhere it is 500 for this close partition or closed department, right? Now if we'll check this grocery department, so what is the first value here?
200.
200. And that's why all these values are 200 only, correct? Similarly in sports, what is the first value? It's 400. That's why this is 400 only. So that is the simple task of first value. It's very straightforward, very simple. Hope this is clear to everyone. Do you have any question from this first value? Yes, no,
No, sir.
clear. Okay, good. Similarly, exactly in the same way, you have last value. Okay, you have last value, but here is the twist. Here is the twist. Last value behavior is very strange. You have to be careful there. In this output, if you will check, so you have here clothes. Clothes is the one department. You have here grocery, which is another department, right? You have here sports, which is again another partition or department, correct? Now, if you will think that, okay, fine, then you taught that first of all, partition by department, order by transaction month. So fine, this is partition by department, order by transaction month. And that is getting followed in each and every department here. So then this last value. Now, if you will try to correlate this with the definition of first value, what I have mentioned here, then you will ask that Tanvir, in that case, in this closed partition, the last value is 200. So this should be populated with 200 everywhere, but this is not the case. So how is it, right? You might be thinking this. And the same question you can ask here as well, that in grocery, the last value is 200. So here, everything should be populated with 200, but that is not happening here, right? Is the question clear here, first of all?
Yes, sir.
Clear? Okay. So that's
Sure.
the strange, yeah.
Sorry, sir. First
Mhm.
and first value and last value just like pick the first value and last value means last, it picks the last value of that
Correct,
taxation amount column, is it? Okay.
correct. That was the expectation, that the last value should pick the last value for each and every department. Like if you're talking about close, last value is 200. It should pick 200 and it should populate here, but that is not happening, correct? Because if you will check this with the same understanding what I have educated you here, that the first value means the first value is 500. Everywhere you have 500 here. Okay, the first value is 200. So everywhere in the grocery it is 200. Okay, the first value is 400 in sports. So everywhere it is 400. So you can ask the same thing, that then you taught that the first value will be getting populated. So here the last value. So going with this definition, Tanvir, the last value is 200 for close. So everywhere there should be 200, but that's not the case, right? You might be thinking this. Is the question clear, first of all?
Sorry, sir. Like partitioning is happening in, uh, okay, yeah, transaction amount. The new amount column
Hmm.
is a partition, right?
No. We are trying to derive this new amount. This is
Oh,
an
yeah.
alias,
New amount.
right?
Okay.
This is an alias. And for this, what we're trying to do, you could see here, like, first of all, we're doing partition by department, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what I have shown you, that this is close is one department, separate partition. I've given different colors for this, right? Grocery is
Yeah.
another partition. I've given separate color. Sports is another partition. I've given separate color, right? And
Yes.
within that, it is order by transaction month. So this is in transaction month order, right? Correct. So
Yes.
I was thinking that first value will pick the first value. Then in that, going with that definition, the last value should pick the last value for each and every department, right? But that is not happening here. So you might be thinking, what is the reason? So far, so good. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Now that's the catch here. That is the catch here. When you are using last value, so the engine doesn't checks the values within each partition, or maybe it can consider partition randomly, like maybe it will stick to this particular sequence only, and it will assume that, oh, this is the last value, it will display this, or the output can be very different. For that, we have to again explicitly mention in the query to the SQL engine, that engine, when you're trying to find the last value, please stick to this particular partition, and within this tell me the last value. And for this partition, stick to this. In this, the last value, whatever is there, you populate that here. Then I have to tell that, okay, within this partition, stick to this, and within this, whatever value is there, you show me that. And I think that is what our SQL expert in the group has tried to explain you like this. Like we have to tell to the SQL engine to stick to this sequence. And within this, whatever is the last value, you populate that. So last value is 200. So we'll tell them to populate 200 here. Is that clear? Then we have to tell to the SQL engine that for the next sequence, please stick to this one. And within this, whatever is the last value. So what is the last value here? 200. Populate it here. And similarly for this. Now to do that, you have to add one additional condition here, which is known as frames. So maybe in the next session, I will take one more session and I will explain you what is frames in detail. Okay. So for that, you have to write here rows unbounded. Okay, preceding and unbounded following. You might be thinking that this is very strange sentence, okay, but the meaning is very simple. From this, actually, we are telling SQL engine to stick within each partition. This has many other flavors as well. You can increase by one, you can decrease by one, many other flavors are there. So I'll take one more session on frames and we can discuss that. But here the meaning of this is you are telling SQL engine that please stick to this particular partition, to this particular frame. Okay. Now when I will execute this query, now you check the output for this. This is the query. And here, oh, again, something is missed. Partition by department, order by transaction month, rows unbounded, rows, oh sorry, between, I forgot to write here. Rows between. This is the query. Now I verify the output for this. This is the output. Now please verify this. You will find that it will pick the last value from each and every department. And here is the coincidence that the last value is same. And that's why everywhere you could see it is 200 only. So for close, what is the last value, guys?
200.
200. So it has taken this 200 and it has populated here. Correct? Now for grocery, what is the last value?
200 again.
200. That's what I told. It's like purely a coincidence that all the last values are 200. So the 200 is getting populated here. And similarly in sports, the last value is 200 and 200 has been populated here. So first of all is the first value and last value definition is clear. Although it's very simple and it's straightforward only. But is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, coming to this, we have this partition, we have this another partition, we have this another partition. Now, you guys tell me, here you want this output, right? You want A to be populated here everywhere. Where is that? You want this 4 to be populated here, this 10 to be populated here. So now if I have to, now it means now here, I want this 4 and here as well I want 4. In this case, this is 10. So everywhere here, I want this value to be 10, correct? Now this is 3 here. So this is 3. This is 3. So everywhere here, I want 3, correct? So now tell me one thing. So here within each partition, which value we want? Last value or the first value?
The last value.
Last value. That's all. Done for the day. Now let's check it.
One
Yeah,
question.
tell me. Yes.
lag comma 1 comma 0. Here 1 signifies what exactly?
Here one means to shift the value which is present in column A by one position in downward direction. That is the meaning of one here.
Okay.
Clear?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. And then the zero means wherever it is null, it will replace that with zero. Okay. You could see here that the values here, this zero is shifted here now by one position in downward direction. Here, this one has been shifted by one position in downward direction. I've covered this in our regular course. So, any question before I proceed further? Okay, I think this is clear so far. Where I was covering this. So now what I will do, I will keep this in another CT, CT2 as. Okay. And this is B. So net what we will do, your column, comma, row num, comma, A, comma, and this is B. So I'll write B here. And now you want last value. You want last value, but from which column? In this data, you want last value. From which column? From your column,
Your
right?
column.
So we'll write here last value, and then we'll write here your column. Over partition by what? Partition by which column? Here, which column partition you will use?
B.
Partition
B,
B.
because B's value is same in this partition. You see, B value is same for this partition, right? So we'll write here partition by B, ordered by the row num, and then just whatever I have explained you this here, because you're using last value, so you use this one so that the engine will stick to that particular partition. And rows between. Sorry, I will take a separate session, okay, and I will explain you this frames. It has many variations, many flavors are there. So as new,
Yes,
whatever you want, you can call this. Just a minute, give me 1 minute, okay. This is from CT2, okay. So now if you will execute this, now you could check the value here. Let me give this query here. This is the where I've kept, this is here, right? It continue from here. Now this is your query, and for this query, this is your output. Now you could verify the output, the input and output. So here, this was your input, right? And this was your expected output. So please verify, are you getting the same output? So here this value 4 is getting populated here, value 10, it's getting populated, and the value 3 is getting populated. So here in this question, we have used the concept of CT, then count this one, and then lag function and last value. Okay, yeah, question please.
Tanvir, can you please tell me like how that between unbounded preceding and following is working here internally?
Sure. I will cover this in detail when I will take the frame class separately. Maybe next week I will plan 25th if you guys are available. Okay. So here, when you are telling this rows, where is that? Rows between unbounded preceding and unbounded following. So actually, this is known as frames. In window function, you have the flexibility of controlling the partition. Okay, like you can tell if you're standing at this position, you can tell to the SQL engine that before this I want to cover this and this. It means one row before this and one row after this. So we use rows, and somewhere we use range function. So that I will cover in detail. I don't want to go in that complexity now. But here you're telling that rows between unbounded preceding and unbounded following. It means that within this partition, so whatever values you have within this partition, you stick to this. Okay, not to precede it. It means this is one boundary. So not to go beyond it, unbounded following, not to cross this one. That is the meaning of unbounded preceding and unbounded following. If you'll go to the next partition, this one, again, the same meaning is there, that within this partition, don't go beyond the preceding value, don't go beyond the following value. It means stick to this partition only. That is the meaning. Is that clear? It has few other flavors. We'll discuss when I will cover the frame part. It is rows between, then you have range between. Okay. But net, the meaning is you are telling SQL engine to stick to this particular partition. Is that clear?
Yeah, one more thing, like if we will not take that rows between unbounded
Mhm.
preceding and unbounded following, then how will it work? Like after that also we have done the partition, no? So it will cover that one only.
That is the problem with last value. That is what I have shown you here. You are correct. Your understanding is right. That is what I tried to explain you here. You see, I have used last value, right? And I have used partition by department. But in the case of last value, what it means, how it works is, it doesn't consider the partition in the way how you have mentioned here. It will take it randomly. And that's why you might be, that's what I told you, that here you can claim that the last value is 200. So the 200 should be populated everywhere, right? But that is not the case here. So it is not considering this partition. It is not considering this partition. Now to impose this restriction to the SQL engine that you stay within this partition, here in this query, I have used that rows between unbounded preceding and unbounded following. So we're telling SQL engine to stick to this partition. Don't cross the first boundary value and the next boundary value. Within this, you find the last value and populate that. Is that clear? And that's what in the screenshot our SQL expert have shown you through that arrows, right?
Got it. Can you please go to that query, Oracle?
Oracle, yes, please.
Can you please remove that after row like rows between unbounded and that all things? Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me remove it.
Yeah. Now run the query.
Just a minute. One minute. Let me keep this in an Excel sheet. Be easy to analyze them. This is the value. Tell me. This is the output. Yes, Bhushan, tell me. So that is what is happening here. So you have used the last value. That is what I told. So you are thinking it will pick the last value, but that is not happening here. This is one partition, right? So within this partition, it is again behaving very abnormal way. So here we're expecting that it should pick the last value, which is 4, and 4 should be populated here, but that is not happening here, right? So
Yes.
that's the reason we are putting that constraint here to the SQL engine that please stick to this. And within this partition, what all values you have, you show that. Okay. Is that clear?
Yeah.
But if you will use first value, that will not be the case. Okay. In the same thing, if you use first value, that will not be the case. And then you don't have to use rows, unbounded, preceding, and that one. Let me show you that. 1 minute. And this query. Instead of last value, let me use first value. Now check the output.
Tells you everything as a null.
What I have written order by first value, your
No,
column.
it's correct because in the first value we have null only. for everything.
Yeah. So
So it
it
is
is,
default.
you're right. Yes. Here it is null first value. That's why it is everywhere null. So what you can do here, you can write here order by row number descending. Okay. Now check it. 4, 4. These all values are 10. These all values are 3. Okay, but in this case, if you are giving an interview, your interviewer can try to confuse you. He can ask that why this 4 is on top, this
Yeah.
null is after that, right? So that's what I will not recommend you to work on this solution. Means this is not the correct solution. Even if I'm an interviewer, I can ask you a question. I will not accept this. But just for your understanding, I'm telling you that you can use first value, then no need for that. I will discuss that frame in detail, okay, in 1 or 2 days.
Okay.
Hope this is clear to everyone.
Yeah, clear.
So find there any question, anyone?
Yeah, one more thing, like what is the
Hmm.
difference between the row number and row ID?
Row number and row ID.
Yeah.
Quickly, I will tell you. I will not go in much detail. Okay. If it is clear, then fine. Otherwise, we will discuss this in a separate class. If you write row ID, no. So this way, this actually gives the physical address where the data has been stored. Let me show you this 1 minute. I have this Amazon table, no. Let me show you that. Select department, transaction month, transaction amount, comma, row ID from Amazon. Okay. Let me run this. Now check the value. So here this row ID will give you the physical address of each and every record. Now see the values are very different now. So this is nothing but the physical address where each and every record has been saved. Now these all values are different. And this is in a sequence, if you will notice it. You see the last value, the last character, this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. This is in sequence. So this is just giving you the physical address where this record has been saved. Okay. If you're using row number, that is like a sequence generator. It will generate the values for you. Okay. And that is one of the window function. Row number over.
Not a row number, row num only. Like we have
Oh,
used.
row num is just like it will generate a sequence number for you. Both are different. Row ID will give you the physical address. Row num will give you the values. That this value is 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Is that clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So fine then, guys. Hope you have understood all these concepts. I will upload this on my YouTube channel as well. Those who have missed, they can go through the recording. Thank you. Take care. Bye.